What goes into producing sod, top-notch sod? Hello, I'm Sharon Scott Wilson with Golf Course Trades. As you know, we mail a printed copy of the trades every month, and we also have a weekly e-newsletter. So if you need to sign up for either of those, visit our golftrades.com website and go to the page that says be part of the conversation. So today we have heard from several golf course superintendents and directors of golf who have raved about the turf at Bethel Farms. So we're very blessed today. We have the Vice President of Production of Bethel Farms, Jonathan Brown. He's going to share about the company, and I think you'll come away with a little more knowledge about what goes into making grass and special grass in particular. So before we begin, we'll go ahead and share a little very brief video that we found ourselves on YouTube.
I'm Joe Ramsey. I'm the Director of Agronomy for the club at Quail Ridge. So we needed a grass that could withstand the traffic, not only from carts and foot traffic, but also divot recovery. Also playability. We have over 100 single-digit handicap golfers, so how the grass performs from the golfer's perspective was really important.
After the last year and a half, I can assure you that we definitely have made that right decision.
Well, that's quite a testimony. So I was told, Jonathan, that you are not shy. So perhaps you could describe your role at Bethel Farms and what goes into what you do.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. And I do a little bit of everything, actually. They've kept me around here for almost 25 years, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly why they have me here because it's so numerous. But basically, I look over everything anymore. We've expanded so much, and we have a tremendous team that I don't really have to worry about a whole lot because I can depend on them. But we're just we're working for the future constantly, even though we're living in the present, and we're working on production. We're doing research. We're basically a marketing company that grows turf, if you look at it that way, because the days of producing something and just having somebody come knock on your door to buy it are history. You know, today we've got to go after that market. So that requires a lot of marketing and advertising. I would say the most important role that I play at Bethel is as the ambassador. And I am proud to be that ambassador because I represent a quality company with integrity. And that's tough to find these days as well.
Very good to hear. So on the surface, it looks like, you throw out some seed and grow grass and what the diff, you know. So tell us what goes into making great turf.
Well, as with anything, it starts with a plan for sure. So that's why we're looking out so far in advance. And that takes innovation in today's world to be able to be the best at what you do. Integrity obviously is at the top of that list, and doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And that's why we go through the certification programs and stuff like that, where we have third parties coming in looking at our product to make sure that it's what we say it is. And service is at the top of the list as well. We've got to service those customers and get it there. So logistics are a serious part of the service side of it, is getting the product to the destination and making sure that it is what we say it is. And then quality it's by far one of the biggest things. Because in the golf world, there's not a lot of room for mistakes. Good news, as you know, travels fast. Bad news is at lightning speed. So we want to make sure that our quality is there and that we make that superintendent or the manager of those grounds. We want them to look good, and we're going to do everything in our power to make them look good.
Well, I was told that Bethel Farms is has some exciting things going on. So what's the enthusiasm for these days?
Well, to me, Bimini, Bermuda turfgrass. Right now, it's like a huge shining light. Since the inception of Bimini, we really started a lot of research and development about 9 years ago. It is a selected variety, and since that inception, there hasn't been a year that we haven't been expanding. So first we expanded internally, and then as the demand grew, we actually licensed other growers to grow the material, not just for us, but other golf courses can go direct to those other farms, whether they're in Florida or whether they're in Texas or whether they're in Georgia. We want to make sure that market is fulfilled, and that when they get ready to look for Bimini, they can find it. And it's just an amazing grass. We did a lot of field trials at universities to go through the certification and get it where it is today. So the field trials were with Oklahoma State, University of Florida, among a few others that are now using Bimini as a standard by which others are measured, which is a pretty neat accomplishment, actually. But they did wear tests that was a 2-year study program at Oklahoma State. I actually went out there and visited with Dr. Wu and his team. And then at University of Florida, Dr. Unruh, Dr. Kenworthy did a lot of nutrient and drought tolerance tests, as well as genetic purity, which we have to do the DNA testing on it to make sure that it is pure and that it stays pure. And that's part of that third party. They're constantly coming in, checking our fields, making sure that purity is sustained, and making sure that there's not any noxious weeds or anything like that in our fields. So not only does it work well for golf, but it also works well in residential. It's kind of neat whenever you have a technician from a maintenance company pull up and the guy's camera in a residential lawn, and he said, "Hey, I just want to make sure this is really turf, because it was so pretty and flawless. I thought it was actually artificial turf." So that's a good spot to be in, actually. But it does a great job when you start looking at Texas and Georgia. Part of the mainstay for residential and commercial turf is Bermuda, and it falls right in because it's very adaptive as far as mowing, soil types, and geographic area. So that's kind of cool part of it. And that end of it is just now really starting to take hold. We're on some pretty big developments in Georgia, and that's growing. And also, actually, the grower in Georgia has one guy that has taken every bit of it. So he hasn't even been able to share it with other communities, but it's doing well in Texas as well. And then whenever you look at sports, it'll handle pretty much anything. You know, it's used in baseball fields. It's used soccer fields. Soccer, they really love it, because when they have these multiple teams coming in there playing 4 or 5 and 6 games a day, it just recuperates so fast because of the rhizoneous structure that's underneath the main portion of the turf that you see. So it's really adaptable. Football, they're liking it because of the cushioning effect, and it, you know, when they fall, it doesn't break legs and knees and twist ankles. It also will allow a cleat to enter the turf mat, but then pull away instead of hanging them up, which can cause trips and falls. And as you know, that's where people get hurt on sports fields. So that's exciting. But the mainstay in Florida is by far golf. These guys they're loving it, and we're excited because we can make them look good. The turf grass makes a superintendent look good, and a superintendent, their role is something that I don't envy, because it is difficult at best to try to define it is incredible. I mean, I think about having one main boss here at Bethel Farms. You think about a superintendent may have up to 150 bosses, and that's the members. And they're going to be critical of what they're doing every day. They're not going to remember if something looked perfect. The only thing they remember if there was an issue. So because of Bimini's adaptability, they really don't have to worry too much. And if they get a lot of rain, it doesn't seem to bother it to go in and take that back down where it needs to be, to lower that mowing height. It can handle that scalping and pop right back. At the end of cart paths where you have a lot of wear, and if you look at the data, the real data, that looks good. But what looks even better is when you look at it in practice on a field and they're driving that golf course over it day in and day out, and it's still poison green and holding up. So that's the main excitement is Bimini right now.
Oh, wow. I wish you would come up here to Tennessee with it. Maybe we'll get you on up here. So I understand Bethel has a new division called Bethel Innovations. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, I can. Bethel Innovations. So when you think about Bethel, a lot of the other growers around the country, they recognize Bethel as being innovative. It's not only innovative on the marketing side, but we're also innovative when it comes to conservation and when it comes to having the grass that meets the market's needs. It's not about what I want or what Will Nugent wants. It's about what that customer wants and needs. And as everyone is aware of, resources are depleting. The amount of water that we have with the population increase, especially in Florida with 1,000 people a day moving down here, we've got to find ways to conserve. And doing that, we're creating Bethel Innovations, or have created, so that we can do our own breeding program as well as work with universities across the country. We have grasses in there from Oklahoma State. We have grasses in there from UGA. We have grasses in there from University of Florida. And it's exciting to be working with them. That puts us out front as far as understanding those grasses.
Thanks very much for joining us. Golf Course Trades, of course, will have this up on our YouTube channel. I think there's a good deal of information here that will be anyone who wants to tour Bethel Farms. You had already said they were welcome to come and visit you in Arcadia, Florida, and you would show them around just east of Sarasota.
That's right. We would love to have them come visit. I just want to say that we're about service and integrity, and we're also looking for input from superintendents. What's important to them, what they need, what they're looking for in the future, and we want to be able to provide that for them.
I think it sounds wonderful. What a marvelous organization. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I did want to say thank you to all of our listeners, both live and eventual on YouTube. But I did want to say, if you're listening live, this will be posted on YouTube later, and you can circulate it among your peers and your coworkers. And if you missed any of our previous webinars, go to our YouTube channel, Golf Course Trades, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Just stay connected with what's new and your peers in the industry. And also, if anybody has something that they would like to share, we'd love to hear about it too. Just send me a quick email, Sharon@golfcoursetrades.com, or give me a call at 310-923-1269. Love to talk to you and hear what you'd like to talk about. And Jonathan, thank you again so much for joining us.
It was an honor and a privilege. I appreciate you having me on.